After online information market rebounds after a spike, many of us do know that we can manage our time far more this country has ever seen. The birth of two giant panda cubs. Australian authorities are now working very closely with Filipino police after online information showed an Australian man recruiting local fighters to join the Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. Good morning and welcome to Business News. I'm Mary Saliba with the latest headlines. The Australian share market rebounds after a spike in world oil prices, while talk of rescue packages continue at the Asian Business Summit. Medibank says insurance customers, investors and patients will benefit from its rejigging of hospital contracts. Almost 400 workers at Queensland's Pilbara mine have lost their jobs, capping the toughest week for the mining sector in 2016. And after decades of isolation from the West, Iran finally emerges as one of the region's most lucrative markets as global companies are cashing in. Details of these stories coming up later on. But first, imagine a warehouse where staff could simply look at a product and know just how well it's selling. This is just one of the business applications of wearable technology that is being explored by Melbourne software company B2 Cloud. Director of B2 Cloud, Luke Smorgan, joins me in the studio now. So just how well are you managing your time? Many of us do know that we can manage our time far more effectively than we already are. But we have to identify the mistakes that we are making, and that's already difficult enough. But once we identify those mistakes, how do we find ways that can improve our performance? Interestingly though, this is one vital area that middle management tends to ignore. But by doing so, it wastes huge sums of time and money within a corporation. So, what is the simple answer? Well, time management training programs. These will help you to be more productive, less stressed, and happy in your workplace. So if you, like many of us, are guilty of not prioritizing, procrastinating, or being easily distracted, or maybe you're just taking on far too much, then you need to listen very closely. Because today's training program will help you identify your habits and limitations, giving you time management strategies that will help you fly ahead in your career. This coming week, Australia will mark the 30th anniversary for one of the most astounding and disturbing crimes this country has ever seen. And so too will Stan Michaels. He's the husband of murdered wife Michelle Pearce. Michelle's body was found raped, beaten and burnt in Sydney's south during the mid-1980s. Dealing with his own emotional pain, Stan has kept away from the Australian media and public to cope with this enormous loss one day at a time. But now, out of hospital, Stan says he's almost recovered from losing the love of his life. But he wants to reach out to Australian families, sharing his personal experience to help them recover from similar tragedies. Tonight, Stan breaks his 30 years of silence by sharing his personal story with us here at The Issue just right after this break. Stay with us. Toronto Zoo has announced the birth of two giant panda cubs. The zoo reported that mum Shan and her cubs Nellie and Snowy are doing extremely well. The new family will be staying inside the maternity section for another 5 months or so to ensure that mum and baby cubs are fully recovered. I'm Mary Saliba reporting for Sydney News.